In this lesson we're going to be talking about infinite limits. That is, when we evaluate our limits as x goes to infinity. Now let's just look at the graph before we actually look at the problem. So I've got a graph here, and there's a vertical asymptote at x equals 0. As my x value increases, you can see that the y value here is decreasing, and it's getting closer and closer to 0. And if we looked over here at the left hand side, as x gets larger and larger and larger, what is happening to my y value? Why, it's getting closer and closer to 0 as x gets larger and larger. A way to say that is, as x approaches infinity, f of x is approaching 0. So this is how we write this. So the limit as x approaches infinity of our function, which is 1 over x, is equal to 0. How do we know that? Well, what we normally do is we would take a look at the denominator, look at the term that has the largest power, which happens to be x, since there's only one value in the denominator, or one term in the denominator, and it happens to be x. Well, then you would divide everything by whatever this is. So we divide it by x, and then do the same in the top, divide that by x, and now we look at this as x goes to infinity of a constant, right? It's just going to be that constant. But what happens to 1 over x as x goes to infinity? Well, this just goes to 0. And that's the reason our limit is equal to 0. Looking at the left-hand side, so this time we're going to negative infinity. And what I'm going to do here, you notice the negative sign is missing here. I'm going to put negative x in for wherever there's an x. So I put negative x in. Here it is. And then I divide everything by whatever is the term in the bottom that has the largest exponent. So we use the same argument as in the beginning, and I divide it, right, everything by negative x. Well, you can see here that this just becomes 1, and once again 1 over x, as x gets larger and larger and larger, 1 over a very large number, then 1 over a very much larger number, right? So this thing is going to 0, and 0 over 1 is 0.